I'm Susan Page from USA Today. Welcome to Facebook Live. And I'm Susan Page from USA Today. We're here for Capital Download in the Charlottesville, Virginia home of Kazir and Ghazala Khan. Thank you so much for walking us here.
Thank you very much. Thank you for taking the trouble to come to our home. We appreciate it. Thank you. And to your audience.
We are here in your living room where you have mementos from your son who died, a hero working for the U.S. Army U.S. Army captain in Iraq in 2004. You have been grieving privately for him for 12 years since he died, but you made a very public address less than 2 weeks ago at the Democratic Convention. Why did you decide to give that speech?
Thank you for asking that. Such an important question. And lots of folks are wondering that what caused this after 12 years of being quiet and private people? Why this expression in public? And I have answered this before as well, and I shared this with your audience, with your viewers. For the whole year last year, we've been sitting really quietly like many American citizens, watching this political process take shape, watching the disrespect of Donald Trump, disrespecting immigrants, Muslim immigrants, women, judges, even senior members of his own party, disparaging remarks about immigrant Muslims. And I would go and visit our friends, our relatives, for dinner, for other gatherings in the community. Little children, and 10 years old, 15 years old, even older. They know that I'm an attorney. I practice law, so I must know something about law. They would come to me, personally close to me, and they'll say, Mr. Khan, you're a lawyer. Will we be thrown out of this country? We are born here. Our parents are immigrants. We go to school, and our friends taunt us, oh, you will be thrown out. When Trump becomes president, you will be thrown out of here. You will not live. We have not been able to focus on our work. We have difficulty in sleeping at night. We think of this. We have not been able to do our homework. And that had continued to evolve in my conscious, in myself. And when this paying tribute to Captain Humayun Khan came to surface, I sat with Ghazala, I sat with family members and said, I want to say something about it. And how this tribute came into Donald Trump earlier this year had said, we are going to build walls, we are going to ban all Muslims from this country and all that. He has changed all that now because it's political pandering. So we sat and we talked about it and we said, maybe this is the time to speak. Maybe that is his spirit, or in his spirit I will speak and show the care for others, because he was such a wonderful, wonderful human being. He died, he laid his life for the safety of others. And at the time of tribute, if I want to complete that tribute, I must speak on behalf of those hearts that are worried, that are concerned, that have no voice, and I will speak. So that's how it all came into being.
And before the speech, what did you expect? What did you think would happen?
I was just thinking that everybody will be really heartbroken to look Humayun what he was doing, and whenever I didn't expect that much love from America or from all over the world. I was just like a normal person that I have seen cry eyes when they see me crying. Everybody, whoever my friends are here in Charlottesville or in DC or wherever I go. So when they will, I just felt that it will be little love, and maybe they will heartbroken. But I couldn't say anything, these things, nothing. nothing came in my brain or my heart to say when I saw Humayun's picture there. So I said, no, I am not going to say anything. Everybody knows now who Humayun is. So, but it was surprised that how they felt me. Without saying any word, they felt me in them. I'm really thankful. They reached to me and I reached to them.
Share that, what we talked about you speaking,
Well, about,
that you should say something
Yeah.
at the convention and speak, but
but I could not, because everybody have seen my face, how red I was just controlling. As soon as I left the stage, in the back room, I just broke out. I was just crying real bad over there.
I had asked her, sorry,
Yeah.
just a footnote to complete that conversation. I had asked her at least come up to the podium and say thank you for your love and care and courtesy.
Yeah.
She said, you know me, I will fall apart the moment I open my mouth. So let me stand there holding the podium, controlling all of this myself. And you do whatever you want. You say it and I'll stand. So it was her decision to remain quiet, to which our aspiring to be the steward of this nation turn it into all this nuisance.
So, there were many speeches given at the two conventions. Yours made a huge impact. Did you think that would happen?
No, not at all. I was thinking that it will grab the attention of course, the delegates and few people, and it may enlighten folks that are beyond the convention as well. The reason is that it is my firm belief that Republicans are as patriotic as Democrats. They love this country as much as Democrats do, or independents do, or others do without any party affiliation. So it was an appeal to those people that fix this harm that is being caused by this rhetoric, by this division, by this fear-mongering. So I was hoping that somebody will hear it, but I wasn't expecting this.
So in the aftermath, after the speech, you got many positive responses. You have many flowers for your home that people have sent. We've seen the grave of your son with many flowers on it. You showed me a big box of letters that you've received. Have you gotten negative responses as well?
Yes, I have. There is a wonderful. We are going through it right now. I was receiving tremendous amount of negative calls. Positive calls would come with the number visible, and they would say, "Thank you, we heard it, and this is our message." Some people will leave the message, and then there would be undisclosed number, and they would leave bad message, discouraging message, and messages of hate, email as well, same thing. I was interviewed on Friday by NPR, and NPR asked me this question: why this grieving in public? What caused you to do all this? And I told them the same story that I told, that I was worried about if I could, they asked me that why with this kind of public expression. I said, if I could comfort one heart, just one heart, with my words, with my effort, with my coming out of this personal, very private moment of our lives, I would do it 100 million times to comfort, strengthen one heart. And I think I have done that. I have received the responses from those children, those people, their parents, that their children have said to them that when we went to school, we felt different today. It is that was behind all this, that concern, that love. And the love is pouring like anything. So after the release of that interview on NPR, here comes the power of press and power of the media. They relayed it 4 or 5 times in different time zones, in different areas and all that. It is like rain has fallen on fire. Not a single call, not a single email of hatred. Because regardless of where we stand morally, politically, ethically and all, we all have some decency in our heart. They heard that through that NPR message, through that answer to their question. And it's been nothing but pure love, encouragement, streets, people hug, people touch us, people give their respect to Ghazala, to all of us, and their sympathies and their condolences and all that. Throughout that process, there is one thing common that she notices and I notice. There are tears in their eyes. And that doesn't happen by making speeches, words, and waving things and all that. Not at all. It's a matter of heart. And hearts have been touched.
You know, one of the surprising things after your speech was that Donald Trump engaged with you over and over again. I think you must have gotten under his skin. Were you surprised that he did that?
Yeah, but she will answer it better than I would.
Yeah, I was very much surprised that he did not see me. He just saw a woman, covered his head, a Muslim woman. That's why he said that they don't allow to talk. That's why she was quiet. I was surprised where his heart is. If anybody have looked at me and they felt this, he is going to be nominated for presidency for America. He doesn't have that much heart that he could feel the pain of a mother. I was so surprised about this, and I have to write this in Washington Post, that this is not because of a Muslim woman. This is because of that pain that I was feeling that time. I couldn't say anything. Nobody have ever stopped me saying anything because I'm not used to this. Even my parents, my father, my brothers, they all come to me to say something. If they have a problem, they come to me. And then my husband, he is very strong person. I have his backing. So that was a surprise for me. And then I told everybody, please tell Mr. Trump, we don't know each other. I don't know, I have never said any bad word because I am not that type of person to make enemies. I always had friends. So please just stop saying anything about me or my family. I don't say to you anything, to you or your family. They are all children of God.
You know, the Washington Post ABC poll that came out on Sunday said that 3 out of 4 Americans disapproved of what Donald Trump had said, had handled the exchanges with you, including most Republicans, 6 out of 10 Republicans. Do you think that your speech could end up affecting the course
I
of this
hope so.
election?
I pray, I hope so. The reason is, Susan, we are getting to a point where Republicans are wishing that he would lose elections so that they can save the party, because he has brought certain un-Republican sentiments and elements in the Republican Party. In democracy, differences of opinions are handled with some decorum, with some room for discussion, but we have come to the worst part in American history by one candidate that truly is not even Republican. And Republicans are realizing what is about to happen. The leaders of Republican Party are realizing the harm that this candidacy would cause to future generations. They will be held responsible for the future Republicans. What? Couldn't you stop this person? This person is not even genuine, pure Republican. Genuine, pure can anybody be because of the values that Republican Party espouses. So if it has caused one vote to not go in that direction, I think my wishes have come true. And the wishes of that trembling heart, that worried child that couldn't go to school wholeheartedly, couldn't pay attention to their lessons, their homeworks, or sleep. I was at another gathering this weekend. A woman came running to me with her 6-year-old daughter. Say, can she shake your hand? Can she stand with you? Can she take a picture so that she can take it to her class and show it to them that this is my hero, this is my support. He has spoken for me, and she wanted to take that speech and show it to her class, and she would ask the teacher, can that speech be played in the class so other students would not bother me henceforth? It is for that purpose. It's that decency of this country. If I have caused one vote to go in the right direction, I'm grateful for that.
You immigrated here decades ago. Do you feel the situation is more perilous for Muslims in America now than in previous times?
Yes, it is. When we moved here first, Ghazala will tell you that the reception we get from our neighbors, they knew that we have just arrived, we may not have a pot, we may not have forks, we may not have cooking oil. They would bring it to us, our neighbors. They would say, oh, you have just arrived, and here it is.
That's what I decided that we are staying in America, because we just arrived in a house. We didn't have the refrigerator there, and my neighbor, they don't know me. I don't know them, not even by name. They came, knocked the door, and she had an ice box full of fruit, cake, pastries, and ice, and bottle of drinks. And she said to me that I didn't bring wine because I knew you are Muslims.
See, this is America that we know. This is our
And how
experience.
has that changed? Is
It has
different now?
changed now that you see people wearing scarves. People are pointing fingers at them, throwing out of the flights and calling them names when they pass by and all that. It's amazing how discourse has changed, how civility has changed for worse. And we have to rise up and ask America for its decency. Most Americans are totally against this kind of nonsense, but there is an element that has gotten voice, had been encouraged because of this political rhetoric, and especially this election season has made it worse. And the voices that wouldn't dare because they were afraid of the decent America to condemn them, they will not stand for their nonsense, kind of have gathered courage to show their ugliness. So this election is just amazingly showing, but we are hopeful that that the intolerance will not be as pervasive as it had been so far. It's taking the backseat.
Have you seen this yourself in the past year or so before the speech to the convention that you felt more hostility or more targeted?
I have, maybe this is my personality, that I don't feel negative from people. I don't even not even notice that somebody is against me or saying something to me. I go everywhere in my clothes, and I'm confident within me, so I make friends, I bring good things from them, and I receive good things from them always. Even I have a friend here at Le Fabric. It's a shop for fabric. I love sewing, and that's my hobby. So I go once a week or just sit there and talk to them. First day after Humayun, I moved here first month. I saw a fabric store, I went in. Everybody become friend. They said, we don't know you. Would you like to come and work for us? I said, work, I don't know, because I want just to be free for everything. Whenever I want, I can sit and think things. So not working, I can volunteer or I can come and just hang around with you, need help. So 11 years I'm doing that. And lots of American I met there. They have written me cards. They have come to me. Today, the store was full because I just went after this week, first time there, and everybody was saying, we have never seen anything, if they call it a Muslim. We love Muslims because we met you. We love you. So we love Muslims because we talk about this religion. I talk with Carla all the time about religion, how similar
we are, yeah.
how our beliefs are the same, how the prophets are the same, how our God is the same. Why we have this thing going on? It's just started from some politics, something killing, and Islam is not about killing. Islam is peace. The meaning of Islam is peace in the word. So I don't know what happened to the word.
And yet you also have things like the incident just in the last couple days of two women who were wearing hijabs who
Yes.
were taken off a
The
plane
plane.
in a dispute. They say they were targeted. Do you think that's what's happening?
That's totally un-American.
Yeah.
That's totally un-American. If the people that know American tradition, the people that know American values would never resort to that kind of pettiness and that kind of ignorant behavior. America is far more generous, more accommodating, more valuing all different cultures, and that is the foundation of America. Some came with covered heads, some came without any cover on their heads, some came in dresses, some came in all sorts of garbs and uniforms and all that, and made this country great, and that is the strength. And believe me, because of those values, this society, this country is the greatest place, most decent place on planet Earth. It is our obligation to protect it. It is our obligation to make it stronger and beautiful. So what does that mean? Azala and I talk about, we need to make sure that we set stricter policies, who's coming, who is going. Those are sensible steps to be taken. But then what we do, there is a biggest question right now, is the homegrown disturbance that is causing nuisance and fears. This is how you deal with homegrown. You don't condemn people, you join hands. Because when you create despair and isolation, that is when I'm an ordinary, modestly educated person. If I can see all this, why can't the leaders of both sides, both parties see this, that joining hands, encouraging people, making them part of the solution would solve the problem of violence, would solve the problem of what has become a worldwide menace of terrorism. So, in my humble opinion, I think sensible law enforcement leaders are already thinking and working on it. Let's make these communities part of the solution.
You know, I think for a lot of Americans, in the past 2 weeks, you have become spokesman for Muslim Americans.
I have one thing to add.
Oh, yes, please, go
So,
ahead.
my niece spent 3 years in Pakistan. She was coming back. She had, since she's born, she was having hijab. This is her choice. And from airport, she called me, Auntie, I'm so disturbed because all I have heard in Pakistan, the Trump is going to teach Muslims lesson. Trump is going to ban, and now here I am wearing hijab. I was so scared. She was not born but grew up. She have grown up here in this country. She have gone to schools, to university, everything, and she got married here. But just went to for 2 years. Her husband's job was there, and she was scared coming back. This is what happened in these 2 years.
And how has it been for her as she's back here?
She, after a few days, she's calmed down. She said, no, it looks like it's some disturbance, but it's not that bad. That I was scared coming back.
Does she think it's different than it was when she left 2 years ago?
Yes.
Different in what way?
Different that nobody have that much respect for just for hijab. She's wearing pants and everything, but just a hijab.
And people notice that about her
Notice
and
about
think
her.
it's suspicious?
They think it is.
Yeah.
So that's what her feeling was, that people are. I said, don't worry. If I travel, I'm sitting, waiting for the plane, and someone will come and sit with me, or it doesn't look like white or black or brown or anything. I get scared. I don't know who he is. This is just a feeling because it's too much in the world going on, this killing thing, that everybody can get scared. It doesn't mean that you have to have a Muslim faith. Muslim faith is just like Christian faith, just like Jewish, we are all three together.
So I think for some people, some Americans think you are now, achieved, you're speaking for many Muslim Americans. They're familiar with you now, and maybe not with other Muslim Americans. Do you feel that way? Do you think that there's, and what do you plan to do, say, from now till the election? Are there things that you plan to do because of this platform that you've gotten?
Yeah, we want to show, most America has seen it. Those who have not seen it, I want to implore them that we are as decent, as good human beings as any other person standing next to me. Our heart is full of patriotism, our beliefs in this country, its goodness, its uniqueness, its strength, its blessings is as much as any other person that have lived here hundreds of years. So we appreciate that. So I continue to speak. This negativity will not make us stronger. We need to seek strength within each other and from each other and continue to move forward, because there is a whole world watching this process. The whole world emulates us. They look at us with envy. They want to adopt certain practices and all. So American nation carries a heavier burden of being role model for the rest of the world. This political differences are part of the democratic process, understood, accepted, but in there, certain things are totally un-American, and that is discriminating on the basis of religion, on your faith, on your garments, on your practices. That is totally un-American. And who else? Senate Majority Leader, Senator McConnell, when he issued the press release after I had requested that they all should distance and repudiate Trump, issued a statement that Trump's statement about discrimination on the base, I'm paraphrasing, on the basis of religion is against the tradition of the United States.
So how will you carry this message in the next few months? Will you, think you'll do campaign events?
Oh, well, I don't know about campaign events, but lots of organizations are inviting to speak. I was invited to American physicians, Pakistani physicians convention. I spoke there, but more so what was dear to my heart, and I asked them to arrange it, and they arranged it, that if I could speak to, because in the back of my mind is still that those little kids, those innocent children are still afraid of this political rhetoric. I asked them to arrange a small gathering of young participants there, and they arranged it, and my God, more than 500, and they had to close the door because of the fire hazards. People poured in, and I asked them questions, what concerns you? I offered them my solution, which is, and I offered it publicly, that I want each and every young American to become the ambassador of good citizenship. That is how we are going to become peaceful. That's how we are going to make positive difference. So I asked them to raise their hands, and they did, and they showed their love and affection towards me by accepting my request to them that henceforth for the rest of your life, you are ambassadors of goodwill, ambassador of citizenship, ambassador of your community, your family, as good citizen of this world. What a pouring of love. I stood there for 3.5 hours almost. I was about to fall off, but I stood there. They wanted to take a picture and give me a hug, and I received it in that spirit that they were giving. And the notes and the courtesies that I continue to receive, it's just amazing, amazing, amazing. So that's the platform, such platform I'll continue to seek and speak, especially to the future.
What about things that are more sort of overtly political, relating to the November election? Are you open to doing more political things, do you think, or do you prefer not to do that?
No, not at all. We will together, both of us will gladly do this. This is the time, Susan, in each person's life, there comes a moment where personal comforts, personal privacies have to be left behind and have to be in exchange for what you stand for, what concerns you most. And this is a historical election. There had been elections and we have voted both sides, this party and that party. We are not committed to one side, but this time we are committed to a candidate, regardless of her weaknesses and her issues, but on the issue of uniting us, on the issue of healing, on the issue of bringing us together, seeking solution in a joint environment. That's Hillary Clinton. She is the most qualified candidate. Look at the intricacies and the complicated world we live in. We need a leader that can tackle those issues, can tackle those matters, complicated issues with deliberation, with patience, with experience. Who else? She's the only one. Hillary Clinton is the only one in this election that is capable of that caliber, that empathy that I talk about. A leader, even if you're leading two persons, unless you have empathy with them, you cannot have their hearts, you cannot have their wisdom, you cannot have their leadership. On the other hand, we have a leader that has no empathy with anybody. I give you an example, just a small example. We are sitting in this environment, and there is Purple Heart sitting right behind us. Soldier comes to Donald Trump and offers him the Purple Heart that he had. You never wish for Purple Heart. The cost of Purple Heart is so great that nobody wishes. God bless him that he received the Purple Heart because of his bravery. And the very first sentence from this candidate aspiring to be the steward of this nation comes out, is this real? What a disgrace. If somebody brings me flower with the sentiment, I hug and kiss that person, I don't ask him, are these real flowers? That is one proof of the caliber of this person. Then comes, oh, this is easy, I always wanted one. I always wanted one. You never want if you have the basic understanding of what makes this country great, what sacrifices people have given to make this country great. You don't ask, you don't say those words. And he puts it in his pocket, and then he shows it. I am an ordinary, modest, semi-educated person. You know what I would have done? And I have said that publicly. I would have accepted it. I would have called that person, given him a hug, tell him, sir, you earned it. It belongs to you. Let me put it back on your shoulder. We are so proud of you.
What did you think when you heard his response?
It is yet one more proof what Ghazala had been saying, his ignorance, lack of empathy, undeserving of even the candidacy of the status of the President of the United States.
So, whatever the Clinton campaign wants you to do, you will do that.
Well, they haven't. Poor guys haven't said anything, haven't done anything. We've been spending our own money to go and eat and do other things and all that. They haven't asked anything. They have lended the courtesy of inviting us. They have lended the courtesy of inviting us and of paying tribute to Humayun. They had put rather restrictions on I wanted to make a 6-page speech. They said, no, you cannot do that. You have to make it only this much. So we cut it and made it that small. Thereafter, they had been in touch in a sense that how are we doing? Are we overwhelmed? Which is lots of other organizations throughout the world, they have approached us and have wished us well and all that. Otherwise, there is no connection, no support, no speech was, there are people saying, well, the speech was written by somebody. I'm an educated person, you've been talking to me, and world has been watching me. I can utter my thoughts, I can write my thoughts without prompters, without somebody putting things in my pocket. This Constitution stays in my pocket all the time, and there's a bundle of Constitution sitting. This is the Constitution that I read, and
you can see the pages are
you
lucid because you
can
used
tell.
it so much. And you've got a passage there highlighted. What passage is that?
This is the 14th Amendment. The Constitution, initial part of it is just the article separating state and federal powers and all that, but the Constitution of the United States becomes live when we get to the Bill of Rights, and among that is the 14th Amendment, and especially the equal protection of law. I get every time, believe me, I don't know what is wrong with me, every time I get to the end of the section 1 of the uh, uh, 14th Amendment, which is equal protection of law, I get sentimental. It means so much in today's environment, equal protection of law. People ask me, what do you think about Sharia law? Sharia law is hodgepodge of British, German, Portuguese laws in Muslim countries and all. They haven't been able to clean it up yet. There are norms of various colonizing powers that have left those laws in Muslim countries. So when people here talk about that the Sharia law is coming, equal protection of law stops it, closes the door, no more. And the reason for that is that there is tremendous amount of gender discrimination in those laws. U.S. Constitution puts equal protection of law. No more up here, the women are better, men are less, women are less. That doesn't work in the United States. So there are protections that forefathers have placed here and all that. So I say that, but people are just not aware of these things. They just shout out because it's easy, gets them the vote, angered the people. Sharia is coming, Sharia law is coming, stop it, let's pass the law, So it's just amazing ignorance of it. This is not the occasion to get further into this discussion, so I leave it there and we move forward.
You know, an associate of Donald Trump, a man who's worked with him for many years, accused you of being part of the Muslim Brotherhood. I don't know if you saw that. What did you think of that?
She can answer that. We have nothing to do with any. This is the height of arrogance and ignorance, and this is the height of demeaning the basic decency and the values of United States. I have nothing to do with them. I don't even know them, who they are. I don't even have any sympathy with their thoughts and beliefs and their propaganda, hijacking of the values of Islam. So I have nothing to do with them.
There's a crowdfunding site that is raising money for you to run for the Virginia House of Delegates. Would you do that?
I want only one thing. Let me reach out to the youth. Let me reach out to the decency of America. I will continue to do that. And if that is the last act of my life, I will be so happy, so proud. Doesn't matter what platform. I don't think on those lines. If you ask me, so what is your wish that you're about to grant me? My wish is that allow me to reach out to our future generation. Allow me to turn them into Muslims, Jewish, Christians, no faith, all of the youth into good citizens of this country, protectors of this country, saviors of this country, saviors of the greatness of this country. And so we can get away from violence, doesn't matter what kind of violence it is. I asked the youth in that hall, I said, one little thing you have started to do from tomorrow onward. When you see a police officer on duty in uniform, just from the distance, you don't have to go shake his hand and talk to him and all that, simply say, thank you for your service. I want to do that kind of thing, small thing, minuscule thing. If it helps somebody, wonderful. If it doesn't, I see it that such gestures, such encouragement to young people and to everyone else as well is going to make us better.
You've been grieving for your son for 12 years, and of course, that will never stop. But I wonder if these past 2 weeks have been helpful in some way.
I think it's helpful when you know that other people feel your pain. They share their love with you, and you feel very strong that you're not alone, taking everything on yourself. You have friends. They will lend you their shoulder to you. They will give you a time. And I'm really grateful that it become little tolerable now. When you know.
One thing that has, and this question was asked and I answered it and I repeat that, somebody said that in how is this tribute to Captain Humayun Khan, and I told them that we sit under the grace, His grace. He was with us 27 years. Within that 27 years, He has taught us so many things. This spark and pain in our conscience is His character, that He got, most of Him is from His mother, Ghazala Khan. He was true copy of care and love which he got from his mother. He used to, occasionally we would talk and all that, he would always greet me not from the right side but from the left side. He would touch his left shoulder to my left shoulder. And there is a reason for that. And so I feel that way, that in this grieving, in this public display of our privacy and all that, but for a cause, but for a purpose, to strengthen one little scared heart. They asked me, how do you feel him here? I feel him that he's standing right here behind me. And his left hand is on my left shoulder. Because that is the connection we have. It was heart-to-heart connection. And whatever good he did for mankind, for humanity, in small gesture, sacrificing his life, saved hundreds of US soldiers. There were about over 300 local poor Iraqi Muslims standing outside. They were saved, and he moved forward and sacrificed his life. So in small gestures, we are continuing to move forward in that spirit.
Mr. and Mrs. Khan, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for taking the time to come and visit.